Happy New Year. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those of you who stayed up late watching sports or partying into the wee hours of the morning or whatever. Thank you for joining with us. If you're here with us Sunday morning online, welcome as well. And if you're watching this later because you slept in and you didn't get tuned into church, welcome whatever day or time you get to watch this amazing service. We have the ritual that we do each year. We have that starting up today. But just to let you know, this New Year's burning ceremony isn't something I invented, but I don't know that you had it before I got here. Did you do a burning? So you did do a burning? Some of you remember a burning ceremony. Some of you are like, nah, I don't remember a burning ceremony. So if you have come in and you didn't get a piece of magic paper to write on, be sure to wave your arms so the ushers can get you one. We'll be using that in a moment. I am Bob Renjilian. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the minister since 2020 of this congregation. And I have a few announcements to highlight for you. I already said the magic paper. Also, Judith Moore is starting a new drop-in meditation class. And so some people may be saying in the new year, oh, we want to do something. Oh, I want to do something new or different. I have never done it before, and this is one of those opportunities. When's the first session, Judith? Tuesday, January 17th at 2:30? 2:30, okay. So that's a new thing. Spiritual Explorers finished up with the Christian nationalism extremist book that was really deep learning for us all, and is starting a new book. So those of you who want to be part of this stimulating discussion, new things starting this month, check your calendar. And all in-person men's group is starting here, because they've had the online one for a while, but as it says on the screen, this Thursday, January 5th, 9 a.m., and so if you identify as male or otherwise feel like that's the right group for you, please join in. Wonderful Wednesday is returning this month after a brief holiday break, and we have Mel Bringle signed up to come here because UUTC members heard this college professor at a public event and said, has to come for Wonderful Wednesday. And so we've been working since October to line up this person to bring her specialty in hymnody to come and talk with us. We do need reservations for the dinner count, but they're not needed for the presentation. I want to thank you again for joining us in this sacred place on the first of this new year in a community consecrated by our presence and our commitment. We're a welcoming and inclusive congregation, and we invite your participation and welcome whoever you are. If you are a visitor, get to know this great group of goodwill and open minds and open hearts. Our mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. Our opening words are the words of Sylvia Howe. We bid you welcome this first Sunday of the new year. Like Janice, we gather with part of us looking backwards and part of us looking forward, and we gather on the edge of the new year, saddened by our losses, cherishing our joys, aware of our failures, mindful of days gone by. We gather on the cusp of this new year, eager to begin anew, hopeful for what lies ahead, promising to make changes, anticipating tomorrows and tomorrows. We invite you to join in our celebration of life, knowing that life includes good and bad, endings and beginnings, we bid you welcome. Come, let us worship together. Let's start out with our first opening hymn, our only opening hymn, number 350, The Ceaseless Flow of Endless Time. The words will be on the screen. I think somewhere in here I forgot to ask if there were candles to light. So why don't I go ahead and get this and come on over, and we have one lit already. Does anyone wish to speak to what that one is for? Oh dear, Canty has lit that first one for her sister who had a fall and has subdural hematoma. That's so bad. Oh, I'm so sorry. Any other care and concern? Yeah, Marilyn.
My brother-in-law, Dr. Don O'Carey, passed away in New Hampshire the week leading up to Christmas.
Oh, Marilyn, so sorry to hear your brother-in-law passed away in New Hampshire just before Christmas. We'll light a candle for that.
I'd like to have you light a candle for my son Ben, who is starting treatment for cancer.
So Susan, a candle for your son Ben, who's just starting cancer treatments. Oh dear. What was your father-in-law's name? Rich. Candle for Rich, who passed away just at Christmas time. So sorry. Lauren.
I came up for my grandmother, who turned 89 a couple days ago. My grandfather is turning 101 in a couple weeks, and this is the first year that my grandmother has lived at home without him. He's in assisted living, so she's in my heart.
Oh, for your grandmother's birthday, a joy, for a candle, though, of sorrow that her 101-year-old grandfather is not home with her, now having moved into a home. Jean.
For Jim Sanders' 95th birthday, which was this week.
Candle for Jim Sanders' 95th birthday. Alice.
I'd like to light a candle for saying goodbye, 2022. It's been a very stressful, difficult year. And welcoming 2003 with open arms.
Alice is welcoming 2003 and saying goodbye to a very stressful 2022. John,
It's time for a joy.
go ahead, John.
I mentioned the joy of the music in this service, and John and the choir and everything. We are so blessed to have it.
We're starting out, yeah, with the joy of music and John and choir and everything we're blessed with the talents that are shared here. Thank you, John.
Could be one more joy. A candle of joy for those who saw family over the holidays, and for those who are going to see family in the coming days and weeks, for example.
All right, Susan Selly, a candle of joy for visits to family having just taken place or just about to. I'm going to light a candle for those who are online and can't bring their voice into this space. I'll light a candle for those things not shared here in this space. Let these candles glow throughout our service. And as we mix and mingle during the coffee time, let's also remember to check in with one another, to learn more about the joys and the sorrows. Thank you all. Now I come over and light our chalice. And we have the unison words by Deborah Burrell above, if you would join with me. Fire consumes and casts a bright light. May our chalice flame consume our regrets for the past, our fears about the future, and our worries about today. May it light for us a path of joy and peace. And I thank Vanessa for finding that and other readings that we'll be using today. All right. I told Catherine, and Catherine, you can move the camera over here. I told Catherine I would sit on the floor and read to the children. So we have a camera set up exactly for that. So with that camera going, do I show up standing here and reading to these people? Because my head is cut off, isn't it? Look at this. How about if I read from up here? We've got a camera to come up here. All right. Our words of wisdom are from one of my favorite authors, Arnold Lobel, who wrote the Frog and Toad stories. And I've shared these once or twice with you since 2020 when I got here. This one I have bookmarked and it's been used many times. It's called Tomorrow. Toad woke up. Drat, he said. This house is a mess. I have so much work to do. Frog, his friend, looked through the window. Toad, you are right, said Frog. It is a mess. So Toad pulled the covers over his head. I will do it tomorrow, said Toad. Today, I will take life easy. Frog came into the house. Toad, said Frog, your pants and jacket are lying on the floor. Tomorrow, said Toad, from under the covers. Your kitchen sink is filled with dirty dishes, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad, there is dust on your chairs, said Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad. Your windows need scrubbing, said Frog. Your plants need watering. Tomorrow, said Toad. I will do it all tomorrow. Toad sat on the edge of his bed, out of his covers. Blah, said Toad. I feel down in the dumps. Why? said Frog. I am thinking about tomorrow, said Toad. I'm thinking about all the many things that I will have to do. Yes, said Frog, tomorrow will be a very hard day for you. But Frog, said Toad, if I pick up my pants and jacket right now, I will not have to pick them up tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to. So Toad picked up his clothes and he put them in the closet. Frog, said Toad, if I wash my dishes right now, then I will not have to wash them tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to. Toad washed and dried his dishes and he put them in the cupboard. Frog, said Toad, if I dust my chairs and scrub my windows and water my plants right now, then I will not have to do it tomorrow, will I? No, said Frog, you will not have to do any of it. So Toad dusted his chairs and he scrubbed his windows and he watered his plants. There, said Toad, now I feel better. I'm not in the dumps anymore. Why? Asked Frog. Because I've done all that work, said Toad. Now I can save tomorrow for something that I really want to do. And what is that? Asked Frog. Tomorrow, said Toad, I can just take life easy. And Toad went back to bed. He pulled the covers over his head and he fell asleep. Happy New Year's to Toad. Our offering this morning is back to the usual of supporting this wonderful institution, back to the generosity of this gathered group of folks helping us move along with all the things that we do by being present in the community. We also had the slide running saying Vecinos is our special collection this week. We didn't have time to mark the envelopes, so we have blank envelopes if you want to slip something in there. Vecina's mission is providing culturally appropriate health and wellness services for the uninsured, low-income, and the farm worker community. They say that our services have a specific focus on the agricultural worker community, while we also welcome all of our qualifying neighbors. Farm workers feed the world. Join us in our efforts to bring better health care and living conditions to those who plant and harvest our food. If you are giving to that organization, we have a few of the envelopes available, but if you want to wait to another week when envelopes haven't run out, we'll continue collecting for them all month. We will now receive the morning offering. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Joanna. What is given in love we receive with great joy, and we say thank you. I invite you to breathe deep, ground yourselves, enter into a time in which you are ready for meditation or prayer. I will lead off before a moment of silence with a brief prayer. Spirit of love and life, we are gathered here on this, the first morning of a new year, a misty mountain morning with mild temperatures, to remind us that even as we see a change of seasons, we are sometimes surprised by the contrast from one week to the next of the ways in which the circumstances around us can go from harsh to mild, from clear winter days to misty mornings. Spirit of love and life, our lives are like that too. There are the days in which our own minds are clouded by fog. Other times in which we see clearly what is around us. When we have perspective on the world around us, may we feel empowered to live and move and be part of something greater than ourselves. May we start this year with resolutions that will hold because they come from the core of our being, someplace where we know they resonate deeply with our values, with what we hope for in this world. May we remember as we start this year that we are not alone. We have each other in the times of stress and in the times of celebration. We have each other when we would need to know we walk alongside others. Spirit of love and life, these, the prayers of our hearts, the prayers of our candles for those who are ill, for those who have reached milestones, for all of the joys of the talents we see among us, these we hold in the silence. In the names of all those known and unknown, remembered and forgotten, in the names of all the helpers of humankind, we say, Amen, blessed be. Perhaps you've come to know me a little bit. You've come to know some of the people that I quote again and again, the ways in which I repeat certain rituals and sayings. Maybe you've gotten to know me as a person. This particular reading by Howard Thurman, I tend to want to repeat each year. And so I'm sharing it again. For those of you who have forgotten, Thurman was an African-American author, philosopher, theologian, educator, and civil rights leader. He co-founded San Francisco's Church for the Fellowship for All Peoples, the first integrated interfaith religious congregation in the United States. And later he mentored, among many others, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, I share this, his New Year's message. This is a new year. The calendar says so. I note the fact by marking it so when I wish to designate the day in the year as distinguished from some other day and year. It may be that my contract says so. It's indicated clearly in the lease I signed or the agreement I attested. It's curious how much difference can be marked between two dates, December 31st and January 1st. Yet there are many things that move unchanged, paying no attention to a device like the calendar or arrangements such as contracts or leases. There is the habit pattern of an individual life. Changes in that are not noted by the calendar, even though they may be noted on the calendar. Such changes are noted by the events that make for radical shifts in the values or the basic rearrangement of purposes. There are desires of the heart or moods of the spirit that may flow continuously for me, whatever the year the calendar indicates. The lonely heart, the joyful spirit, the churning anxiety may remain unrelieved, though the days come and go without end. But for many, this will be a new year. It may mark the end of a relationship of many years' accumulation. It may mean the first encounter with a stark tragedy or radical illness, or the first quaffing of the cup of bitterness. It may mean the great discovery of the riches of another human heart and the revelation of the secret beauty of one's own. It may mean the beginning of a new kind of living because of marriage or graduation or one's change of job. It may mean an encounter with God on the lonely road, or the hearing of one's name called by God, high and above the noise and din of the surrounding traffic. And when the call is answered, the life becomes invaded by smiling energies never before released, felt, or experienced. In whatever sense this year is a new year for you, may the moment find you eager and unafraid, ready to take it by the hand with joy and gratitude. I love that message. I have a very brief sermonette, homily, whatever it might be. Very brief, because the main part will be for us to come forward, having written on our papers that which we leave behind in 2022, or hope desperately to leave behind in 2022, or sadly leave behind in 2022. File forward and put it into the bowl. Please don't use anything but the magic paper. If for some reason you messed up your magic paper and you wrote what you love and you want to hold on to forever and ever, and you want a new piece of paper, we can get you one. But don't use just a regular one, because your minister has just so much magic and needs magic paper to do it. It's a new year. It's a change of calendar. I get a gift of a calendar each year. And this year, I can't hang it in the office. It's just not appropriate. I couldn't believe it. But those of you who've come in to meet with me in the office have noticed that I have a car calendar hanging up, or did up until yesterday, a car calendar with Hudsons and Essex and Terraplanes on it. The car manufacturer that I love, and I own a Hudson sitting in my garage right now that I haven't worked on for quite some time, but I know if I'm lucky and I fix the brakes, I could take it around the neighborhood again. And I have gone to regional and national meets of the Hudson Essex Terraplane Car Club, and I get their magazine. And I asked once again from my family their annual calendar so I could see all the beautiful vehicles posted on my wall. What I didn't read was the fine print that this year they decided to honor women on the calendar. And I can't post it because it has 1950s style girly car ads mixed with a few other really great ones. Like, did you know Amelia Earhart was hired to advertise the launch of their cheaper but very fast car, the Terraplane, in the 1930s? Amelia Earhart standing by an old car is fine to have on the wall, and maybe that month I will hang it up. But the others, not so much. And so I come to 2023 saying, who is the editor? And where did they think this was going to hang? Well, this is the world we live in. It sold cars to have such photos back then. Or it encouraged the mechanics to have such calendars. I don't know. But it's not appropriate. And in 2023, that calendar, well, some months it'll be visible, and others it won't. Maybe there's something in your life, too, that you realize you have something and you've wanted it, and every year it's something important, and then suddenly it's just not fitting anymore. It's a good thing we can change out our calendars. It's a good thing that just about anybody makes calendars. I think because I'd given to the Forest Association in my old hometown, I got something from with the Arbor one, that, and I put that up, and it has no pictures really, but it has the dates. Maybe I will find another calendar that speaks to something about me or my values or the quirks of who I am, and I'll put it up, and that will encourage you to come in and have an appointment with the minister and say, okay, I want to see your calendar. And maybe you do something the same. Maybe you put on a new shirt. You change the sheets on your bed. You do something that says, all right, here I am, and this fits me, and maybe you go out and you change your decorations on your lawn, or decide you're going to paint your shutters a new color, or something expressive and new and shining out there. My decision about the calendar came from my deep values. The exercises in the Soul Matters packet this month are talking about, and some of the exercises, going to your deep values, knowing who you are, reminding yourself among the din of everything else, among people who are thinking other than you, wait a minute, that's not me. I know who I am. Or I need to be remembered, put back together again. Maya Angelou says, every person needs to take one day away. A day in which one consciously separates the past from the future. Jobs, family, employers, and friends can exist one day without any of us. Each person deserves a day away in which no problems are confronted, no solutions searched for. Each of us needs to withdraw from the cares which will not withdraw from us. Toad figured that out. Let's get some things out of the way so that tomorrow I can just have the day I want it to be, the day in which I am not burdened by everything. I forget what the next chapter in the Frog and Toad story is, but I'm sure it has something to do with going out on an outing with Frog. Because as much as Toad was saying he just wanted to spend a day in bed, it's very clear from the stories that their friendship is one that helps encourage Toad along the way. Maya Angelou probably knew the days in which stepping away from writing, the worries of the world, the issues of race probably don't disappear for a day for those who are marginalized or attacked in our society. The issues of, well, being hungry don't disappear for a day. There's a certain extent in which being able to say, I can wash the dishes and go back to bed and not worry, means that we're kind of privileged. Yeah. And so our values call us to remember that and give and be part of things. I know in our household, and probably in yours too, there were many solicitations. Please help. Please help. And Christy and I responded to just so many of those. And I looked and I saw where we were on our pledge. And I thought, was there some place I forgot? Somebody or something? Every person needs to take one day away, Maya Angelou said. And Marianne Williamson, inner peace doesn't come from getting what we want, but from remembering who we are. Those rituals that we have during the holidays may help us remember, put ourselves back together again. Be ready for a new year. Sometimes the gift giving that we do is a part of our remembering those rituals, those stepping through each piece of typing in a donation online or writing, or pulling together food to donate to where it's going to be distributed. Inner peace doesn't come from getting what we want, but from remembering who we are. In a world of advertising in which we're trying to be told what we want, let's remember who we are. The images on the calendars, the fleeting jingles that come across the radio or the TV, always to catch our attention. When we know at the beginning of the year, maybe we should be centering ourselves, finding our center instead, not having our attention grabbed. To close this sermonette, Howard Thurman said again in a different writing, how good it is to center down. Something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment, a direction, a strong, sure purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning in our chaos. As we listen, floating up through all the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there's a sound of another kind, a deeper note. Our questions are answered, our spirits refreshed. With that said, let us leave behind 2022. I invite you to come forward and leave your slip of paper, magic paper, in this magic bowl at this magic time with your magic minister. On the first of the year, the turn of a calendar, come forward with your sense of self. Unburden, let go, and release. there is anyone who's not been able to put a piece of paper in, you can take it home. You can find a way when the ritual works for you. But in this moment, I ask that everyone join in the unison reading as our ritual, a new one for this year. Again, thank you to Vanessa for finding this. Let's read together the words of Lois Van Leer. I let go of all that binds me, of all that burdens me, of what I carry, of all that shames me, of fear, of trespasses and transgressions, of woundedness. I let go of guilt. I let go of anger. I let go of small-mindedness and pettiness, of ways of being that no longer work for me, of compulsions that consume my living. I let go of what I cannot change. I let go of regret, of that which haunts me. I let go of pain. I let go of ways in which I miss the mark. I let go. All right. Here is the moment. Watch carefully. Do not blink. Those of you at home with pieces of magic paper, you can prepare to burn them too. May those things that we wish to leave behind be erased and released from us. With the magic entrusted in me as your minister, I declare that 2022 is gone. And that last piece of paper was mine. And I'm going to keep prodding it because I want it gone. I used an old piece of magic paper, which, go. Go. Let it go. Let it go. Be gone, be gone. Pretty good. I'm going to declare that good enough gone. So all that you had written, all your slips of paper, there is nothing left. No evidence of what was written. May it be so for each of us as we enter into 2023. May the magic of this moment, this ritual, convince us of our unburdened future. Please now join me in singing hymn number 58, Ring Out Wild Bells. The words will be on your screen, and I'm going to grab the hymn book to number 58 because it's an unknown one. Ring out wild bells to the wild, wild sky, the flying And so this great flame was here and gone, consuming what we wish to leave behind. And this small but not insignificant chalice flame will now be extinguished. May you let go what disappeared in this ceremony with 2022. And instead, may you pick up and carry an echo of this chalice flame in your hearts to bring light into the world, whatever your gifts you have to give to one another, whatever new promises that you make in love in this new year, may you go out into this world carrying with a freshness and a spring in your step into the world what you have to give of our religious light. And then return here again with joy, for you are loved here, and among us you get a fresh start. Blessed be. Amen.